At 53, Maya returned to college carrying a backpack she had bought from the children's section because the adult ones hurt her shoulders. Inside it were 2 sharpened pencils, a packet of almonds, reading glasses she kept forgetting she needed, and a degree in dentistry that could not be carried because it belonged to another country and another version of her life. On the first morning, the instructor asked everyone to introduce themselves. The students spoke easily. 18, 19, 21. Nursing, pharmacy, physical therapy. Then it was Maya's turn. I studied dentistry, she said. The young woman beside her looked confused. Then why are you here? Maya smiled. There are questions that could be answered with a sentence. This was not one of them. Long before Maya returned to a classroom, her father had returned to one too. He had been 11 when his mother died. His father lived long enough to see him reach college age, but not long enough to see what became of him. When he died, he left behind a young man, a younger son, and a little daughter, and no instructions for how one child was supposed to become the roof over 2 others. So Maya's father stopped studying. He worked wherever work would accept him. In mills. The machines were so loud that men learned to argue with their hands. Cotton dust settled inside their hair, their ears, and the corners of their eyes. He was quick with numbers and quicker with people. He listened to the workers, he remembered their names, he spoke at union meetings and understood what could be said loudly, what needed to be negotiated quietly, and what promises would appear the moment a manager left the room. Before long, he was placed in charge of men much older than himself. It was a respectable position for an orphan who had begun with nothing. He left it. 4 years had passed since he abandoned his education. By then, sensible people believed he should be grateful for steady employment. But gratitude and surrender were not the same thing. He enrolled at Karachi University and chose double mathematics. During the day, he carried the needs of his brother and sister, worked. At night, he studied numbers that did not care whether a man was connected, wealthy, or alone. A correct answer did not ask who his father had been. When the examination results appeared, his name was second on the list. Second, not second among the boys from his neighborhood. Not second among the mill workers who returned to school, second across the country. For several days he carried the result folded inside his pocket, not because he needed to keep reading it, but because paper was the only witness he had. Then someone showed him a newspaper advertisement. The Air Force was recruiting. He applied. There were interviews, examinations, and years of technical training, ground systems, engineering, aircraft, and radar. He understood machines easily. Machines were complicated, but they were not dishonest. If a signal disappeared, something had interrupted it. If a screen went dark, there was a reason. Eventually, the young man from the textile mill became an aeronautical engineer. Only then did he marry Maya's mother. She came from a large, educated family in Peshawar. Their house stood in the center of the city with a courtyard, many rooms, and the deep confidence of a building that believed the family inside it would continue forever. She had not completed her degree. After marriage, she returned to her studies. This was one of the things Maya would remember with tenderness about her parents. Before either of them taught their daughters what a life should look like, both had already interrupted an education and gone back for it. The Air Force sent them where radar was needed. First to Dhaka, when it was still part of the same country, then Karachi. But Deen, where the land stretched so flat that the sky appeared larger than it did elsewhere. Maya was born there, the third daughter. No son had arrived yet. Outside the house, radar turned slowly through the night, searching distances no human eye could cross. Inside, Maya learned to search much smaller spaces. The gap beneath the bed became a room. A folded sheet became a roof. Matboxes became cupboards. She built houses out of cushions, cardboard, old fabric, and the lids of biscuit tins. She decided where every imaginary window should face and became angry when anyone moved a wall without asking. She did not know the word architect. She only knew that an empty corner was never empty for long. She was confident with other children, full of games and opinions. But whenever the family moved to another Air Force station and her mother left her at a new school, Maya cried as though she had been abandoned in another country. Eventually, she would find the gentlest teacher in the room. There was always one. A woman with a quiet voice, a hand that rested briefly on her shoulder. Someone Maya could stand close to until the unfamiliar classroom stopped moving beneath her feet. Then she would bloom again. The family moved to Tripoli. Another daughter was born. They returned and moved wherever the radar turned. Her father traveled abroad for advanced courses. His work was exceptional. At one point, his seniors recommended him for a master's degree. The opportunity was refused, not because he lacked ability, because ability and permission belonged to different departments. He kept the letter. Years later, he would show it to Maya. The paper had aged more gently than the disappointment. In 1889, he was sent to Bonn, then the capital of West Germany, to establish an office there. He filled the new home with maps, books, tools, and the expectation that his daughters would excel. Maya traveled with him. She saw orderly roads, unfamiliar houses, and countries unfolding beyond car windows. Her father took the family with him whenever he could. But education followed its own geography. When the time came for important school examinations, Maya and her eldest sister were sent back to their maternal grandfather's house. One daughter was preparing for her medical examinations. Maya was entering ninth grade. The sister elder to her was in matric, that is, the 10th grade. The journey back felt larger than the journey to Germany. She left behind the Air Force world of guarded gates, planned houses, and familiar rules. She left behind her parents and young siblings. She entered the old house in the city with its courtyard endless rooms, cousins, watchful elders, and a different understanding of how girls should occupy space. There, Maya changed, not all at once. First, she grew taller, then quieter in certain rooms, then more aware of being watched. The child who had built houses began learning that a girl's own life could be decided by many hands before she understood that she was allowed to hold the pencil. Back in the college classroom, the instructor had moved on to the next student. Maya opened her notebook. At the top of the blank page, she wrote the date. Her father had once lost 4 years and returned to mathematics. Maya had lost considerably more. But that was not yet the answer to the young woman's question. To explain why she was here, Maya would have to return to the old house, to 9th grade, to the year everyone began looking at her, and almost no one asked what she saw.